Good day, everybody. Sunday, the day after the Daily News 2000. An excellent card comes to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, featuring the Pocket Power Stakes, also the Storms Flame Mile, where we have a repeat of what we saw earlier this month in the Legal Eagle Stakes and also the Fillies race, which were won by Time for Love and Garrix respectively, as Gaffin Arena continues an unbelievable week. He hit the front, a great chase for Champion Jockey during the week, with plenty of winners at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Wednesday, plenty more at the Vaal on Thursday, and who knows what we'll be looking at for the next couple of months. Before we get into the car, let me just give you a little bit of a breakdown. Hollywoodbets Durban July, that first log has been published. By the time this race meeting takes place, though, a lot more clues, in fact, probably the last few clues that you need for the Hollywoodbets Durban July will be made known on the back of the Daily News 2000, and there'll be a lot of food for thought, a lot of manoeuvring on the log, and quite a few horses moving in and out of position. Yes, we're still waiting for the Hollywoodbets Gold Challenge, still waiting for the Jubilee Stakes to take place at Turfentine, which in my book is going to be probably the strongest Jubilee I've seen in recent years. But then we've also got the dynamic of a few horses from Port Elizabeth trying to qualify for the Hollywoodbets Durban July. So it really is all going on at the moment. It's a real swirl, a real melting pot of opportunities. So I think that now anti-post market becomes very, very appealing indeed, whichever way you look at it. Tickets are on sale, and come and join us at Africa's greatest horse race on the 5th of July at Hollywoodbets Greyville. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. There'll be plenty going on. Perfectly Placed coming out, some revealing interviews, especially with Corne Orfer and Louis Otwa. They were kind enough, among two others, to spend their time with us, Sean Veal and Brevin Plaikes, the others. Right, as far as this 10-race program is concerned, race number 1 off at 5 to 12. Hollywoodbets Kenilworth welcomes you. Maiden Juvenile Plate, over 1,200 metres. No betting available at the time of recording, so we do go in with potentially a blank canvas and a bit of opportunity. Now, the place that I want to start is with number 10, Sardinia Bay, on a path for Greg Enion's horses look so well. It's such a lean patch. I know exactly the frustration that he must be going through, because you look at his horses and say, well, I'm happy with the space that they're in. They're knocking at the door a couple of runner-up berths during the week, but just not quite getting under the arch here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. It's a matter of time. Now, Sardinia Bay on debut finished 4th behind Churchillian. Second horse, Three Tigers, absolutely dotted up here during midweek, so the form has picked up. Showed good pace on debut. Couldn't go with the gears of Churchillian and Three Tigers on that occasion, but was anything but disgraced, finishing 4th. Grand Finikak takes her out at number 10, Sardinia Bay, and as far as the race runners are concerned, he's the horse that you'll probably be prepared to take a chance on. However, Corne Orfer's comments about number 3, Chance Encounter, were very interesting indeed. This is a full brother to Chansonnet, winner of the World Sports Betting Cape Fillies Guineas a few years ago when defeating Desert Miracle, the champion that she was. And the full sister won the final race at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Wednesday when JP van der Merwe took a chance up the outside rail, and it proved to yield dividends. So number 3, Chance Encounter. Corne's comments on Perfectly Placed were very positive. Watch the market, watch him go down to the start just 2 days after the main Chance Stallion race. They're obviously being bred out there. So race number 1 on the card, I'm going to go with the first timer, go with the race runner, and go box fingers 3 and 10 to kick us off. Moving on now to race number 2, start of the Bipot Cape Turf Club Syndicate's Maiden Juvenile Plate for Fillies. They go 1,000 metres. I don't know if I like the look of this race too much. It is the start of the Bipot, and I will structure up a Bipot for you, but the first leg, I am taking no chances at all. I think the reliable place to start was Hollywood Racing's horse, Inside Voice, number 2 on the card. Sean Veal on board for Vaughan Marshall. 2 good runs. Debut 3rd to Amen Corner. We saw Precocious come out during the week and not rip up any trees. But the second start for me was a pleasing run for the Daughter of Pathfork. She made a good step forward from run 1 to run 2 against what I think was a stronger field, and she finished 3rd behind Match That. Form line already. Frank Match That came out and ran at feature race level, was anything but disgraced in defeat. And I think Vaughan Marshall's horses, for, I wouldn't say the lack of winners, but for the fact that there have been a lot of place getters, and also perhaps less frustrating than Greg Enion, but still with horses hitting the frame more often than not, it's a matter of time before everything just starts banging home like Vapor Trail during the week. So I think number 2, Inside Voice, will go very close, and I think that he's a good place to start. However, there are a few horses that need to go into the play as well. Number 6, Beach Verse. Listen to this, by Vercingetorix out of Beach Beauty. Beach Beauty's produced some unbelievable racehorses. Beach One, the first that comes to mind, but Wild Coast, and obviously a Mansum Toady as well, among some others. Andrew Fortune on board for Candice Bass Robinson. And then further down the page, obviously number 15, Demoria, and Aldo Domea put up a lovely debut and well beaten second by She's My World. She's My World won with a head on her chest. Demoria started 33 to 1. There was a drifter by her on debut, but she has an outside draw We saw how that worked in the last race on Wednesday, so that's got to count for something. I wouldn't be writing her off. And other first-timers also make appeal, like Morphelia, number 10, and 14, Chickasaw, although both of them probably bred for a little bit further. And even number 7, Penny's Choice by Vercingetorix could also be quite interesting under Gavin Larena. So let's have a look at that buy pot, spending a little bit of money. 2, 6 and 15, by 2 and 6, by 3 and 5, by 4, 5, 6 and 14, by 1 and 10, by Banker 3. Let's now move on to race number 3. It's the Turf Talk Syndicate Maiden Plate. They go 1,600 metres. PA gets underway at 1:05. Now, as you would have known from my bar pot, 2 horses that I've structured this race around are numbers 2 and 6. Let's have a look and talk about them. They are Tunguska and Senor Dante, but Senor Dante is going to be my place to start. Lou Otwa positive about his chances on Perfectly Placed. Made him his best ride of the day. Sufficient improvement from run 1 to run 2. Now, I'll tell you what the key is for the son of Rafif is the step up in distance out of a Silvano mare. We know that Rafif throws to the mare. Stayed on nicely. That rerun shows you everything you need to know about Senor Dante. Still all legs coming into the home straight. Maybe the change to the Windsor course is not necessarily ideal, but I'd venture to say that the last race came against slightly stronger, perhaps even a similar type of field, and Senor Dante just looks to be stepping up all the time. So with that in mind, I don't think he'll miss the first 3. I hope he doesn't miss the first 2, and Senor Dante has a great opportunity to get out of the maidens. But there was a whisper around Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Wednesday about number 2, Tunguska, and why wouldn't there be? He was just touched off last time by Show-Off. Penultimate start behind 006. 006 stepped up a division or 2 and won with ease, stepping up in distance. And Andrew Fortune takes a ride for Ricky Maingard. There's a combination worth 35 years or so, and they continue to be among the winners. In fact, I'd say Andrew Fortune's given Ricky Maingard a new lease on life. So for all those reasons, number 2, Tunguska, is difficult to ignore. So 2 and 6 are the main numbers. Number 1, Exalted Love, and Namuzi Yeni out of draw 1 could also have a little bit of progress to come. And then further down the page, the stable companion to Senor Dante and Richard Farine, number 7, Gallic Forge, could also be quite interesting in the opening leg of the place accumulator. But I'm going to narrow it down to boxed exactas, 2 Tunguska and 6 Senor Dante. Race number 4 starts the pick 6, celebrating Centurion member Mark Curry's birthday B stakes over 1,400 metres. Many happy returns, Mark. And I know that you'll have a wonderful day. 20-2 is when race number 4 gets underway. A fiercely competitive race with a lot of promising youngsters involved. When I say youngsters, 3-year-olds, but a lot of 3-year-olds who have better days to come. I think Dawn Till Dusk is an above average horse. I think you'll find 1,400 metres a bit too short. 2 World of Pleasure's a real trier. Air Raid's got wins to come. Please Be True, Captain West. All good race horses, and I think that they're going to step forward, and I think during the summer they won't be too far away from the best, although not saying that they are the best. What are we going to do? We're going to talk about Please Be True. What a lovely return to the sprints it was last time for Please Be True. Given a 3-month break and given a very quiet ride coming back from a layoff over 1,200 metres, a distance short of his best. He took off really strongly in the closing stages to do a 400 to finish in 22.8, finishing 1 1/4 lengths behind Dumbledore. Interestingly, in that race, in front of him was number 3 Air Raid. But where do we stand rather on Air Raid? There's a very strong school of thought that suggests that he's a horse looking for a mile. I mean, obviously his mother was a world champion in the form of a Nara, but I'm of the opinion that a fresh and sprinting Air Raid is the best Air Raid. And I know that we're going to learn a lot about him going forward, and I'm more than happy to be wrong. And I think he's got a winning chance as number 3 Air Raid. But on what I've seen, every time he comes out fresh over a sprint, he brings the best version of himself. So for that reason, I think Please Be True is open to turn that form around. Number 5, Please Be True. I just love that last run, and I think he's in his happy place around the turn as well. Think back to Winter last year, and he was just emerging, stepping forward. He had good looks about him, good performance about him, lost his way for a while, was hopelessly unlucky on World Sports Bet in Cape Town Met Day when he went up the inside and the door shut straight in his face. And I think that he should be a little bit further on in his career than what he is as a 2-time winner from 9 starts. But he's definitely not a horse to lose faith on, and I think that he's got some sort of feature on it, maybe a small feature, but number 5, Please Be True, definitely has a lot to like about him. First leg of the pick 6, I've structured up a pick 6 trying to recreate the magic from about a month ago. 2, 3, 5 and 8, who are the other horses? The ever-trying World of Pleasure, and I think the flummoxing, the puzzling Captain West. I don't know if he has a distance really, number 8 Captain West, but he's still a good horse, and I think that he's above average. And I think when Brett and James Crawford, soon to be James Crawford only, figure him out, that there will be some fireworks from him. So that pick 6 reads 2, 3, 5 and 8 by Field second leg. I'm not going to take much time there. By 1, 5 and 10, by Banker 3, by 2, 4 and 7, by 2, 8 and 9. Race number 5, hardest race on the card, quartet race all over. It's the Reeves Racing Syndicate Class 5 over 1,400 metres. Now, the reliable starting point here, there could be anything in the race, is the 2-year-old son of Verse and Get, race number 5, Happy Verse. Lovely debut in beating Bugle Boy with a form line being a little bit iffy, dare I say. But what struck me most about Happy Verse in calling his debut was the professionalism and the way that he went about his business. There were no airs and graces, no fuss, aim between horses, didn't dig his toes in, and won like a horse that had been in the ringer for quite a while. The way that he quickened, the way that he did the job, and listening to Justin Snaith's comments afterwards were quite surprising in the fact that both him and Andrew Fortune think that he needs to be gelded. They haven't done that just yet, so there might be a little bit of a disclaimer that he could do anything on race day, and his behaviour might not always be good. But I just love what he showed on debut, and he could be above average. He might not be anywhere near the sufficient level to go through the divisions, but a horse that can do what he did on debut, and you don't have to win by miles on debut because you don't know about the relative opposition of the field and the strength thereof, but he's a lot wiser than just a horse that was making his debut, and I think that attribute alone is likely to carry him further than perhaps expectations. Tries the bend for the first time, but he'll have horses all around him to guide him along, and he's got the hands of Andrew Fortune. What better? Once you look past him, absolutely anything can happen. If you threw any name at me, I wouldn't be able to rule them off. Firing on all engines from the front can be dangerous when he's in the mood. 6 Bank Street has been on my radar forever. Number 8, District Master, despite being a maiden, we know that maidens can be very dangerous at this level. And then Drawn in the Muck, 12 Miller Strength, 13 Escrio, 14 Sundays trying this trip for the second time in a while, and number 16 Trey Chic. All horses that have got to be on the radar. But can they live with the fresh legs of Happy Verse? That all remains to be seen, and that leads me into a quartet. Double float, 5 and 6 by the field. I'm going back to the well with Bank Street and hoping he can run into the first 4 along with Happy Verse. Moving on to race number 6, Race Cape Power by Hollywoodbets D Stakes over 1,800 metres. You know what a D Stakes means? It should be wide open. It's obviously not of any strength any type of Hollywoodbets Durban July or World Sports Betting Cape Town Met or Betway Summer Cup runners, but all the same horses that have an opportunity to earn their owners' stakes. Beer with the Boys, the son of Silvano. I've been for him so many times. I think maybe D's died and spell still cast upon us. JP van der Merwe takes her out for Justin Snaith with 64 kilos on his back. He had every opportunity last time out, but it just wasn't his best run. And I think the consistency before and the fact that it come to hand and the old cliche of being a Silvano, a late developing Silvano who will still likely kick on and become a useful racehorse, I think all of that is on his side. Is he a superstar? No. But does he have to be dangerous in this race? No. And I think for those reasons above and the fact that JP van der Merwe gets on best with the son of Silvano, having ridden him 4 times and not missed the frame, that's likely to serve number 1 Beer with the Boys up with a very good chance on the day that the French Open gets underway. What about the others? Lots of others in with chances. Number 10 on the card is interesting to me, Midway, because Louis Otwa gave him a great chance in this company, the fact that he'd been knocking on the door for quite a while. No luck with the draw again, but I think he's fairly versatile in the fact that you can ride him forward, and I think coming back onto the winter course could also help out his chances a little bit because he's got a good turn of foot, not necessarily a long turn of foot, and I think the 150 metre shorter running might be able to be most effective for the son of Pomodoro, the stallion, of course, that won the Hollywoodbets Durban July in 2012 and also father of Salukwe, the winner of the World Sports Betting 1900. Other horses that got a mention, number 5 on the card, Baton Rouge, Richard Ferree on board for Pete Boers on the back of a good second behind 006. And Brevin Plyke is fairly keen on the chances on number 4, Count William. But all in all, race number 6, the play here is going to be box swingers 1 and 10. First of the features, the listed Stormsflay Stakes over 1,800 metres, 25 past 3. It's the first leg of Jackpot 1. Looks hard to beat number 3, Time for Love, doesn't it? Gavin Lorena on board for the banging form, Michelle Ricks and Harold Crawford Yard. And when you think of Time for Love as a horse, her profile and her best performances, you would say that this is pretty much her game. Yes, I know she won the Ladies' Mile in 2024. I know that she ran the Stormsflay Stakes a few weeks later when finishing 3rd to Red Palace of all horses in this race last year. She had the worst of the draws, and I don't think this is quite as strong as the Stormsflay last year. And if you think of Time for Love and the way that she's matured and what she was up to during the summer, I think she ran her best races over further than a mile. Obviously in the Summer Bowl where she was well beaten by Double Grand Slam. She probably had no right to live with Double Grand Slam, Rasco and Red Palace on that occasion. occasion. But to Rainbow Lorikeet, a runner in the Grade 2 tote, Will Avington holds an entry for the Hollywoodbets Durban July in the Victress, running over 1,800 metres, beaten a length and a quarter. Following that up in the final fling over 2,000 metres, went second behind Rainbow Lorikeet and So Brave up in front. This is a game, number 3, Time for Love. And again, going on to the short running, that's all going to play into her favour. She can go and hopefully get handy. She should be able to in a race that is bereft of any pace. And if she can get a soft lead or get up handy without spending too much, she can quicken at the top of the straight, much like Beneath the Clouds did. And I don't think they're in the same sentence at the moment. Like I said, I don't think this is as strong as last year. Beware the Bomb, lot of talk out for her. But over 1,800 metres, I'll kick for touch. I know that she's waited to finish very close to Time for Love. They meet on identical terms, and Beware the Bomb looked like she was making up a little bit of ground and may have been unlucky at the top of the straight and having needed that run. But her only wins have come 1250 and 1,400 metres, so it's a little bit of an unknown venturing into this distance, but I suppose she needs to be respected. But my play, race number 7, revolves around Time for Love, and I think she'll win. Let's now move on to the listed Pocket Power Stakes over 1,950 metres. Of course, Pocket Power came from this nursery in the Winter Series. Miss Durban as a 3-year-old, and then bang, World Sports Betting Cape Town Mets and Lomaroy Kings Plates and even a Hollywoodbets Durban July Champions Cups. They all just fell into the great horse's lap. Wonderful to have his name mentioned and remembered here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. A field of 7 go to post. The key horse here is undoubtedly Garrix. Let's have a look at that rerun that revolves from the Legal Eagle Stakes, where Otto Lucan, Garrix and Mucho De Niro were all involved. And just while we're at it, take note that the 2 Hollywoodbets Durban July entry holders in the form of Magic Verse and Mucho De Niro in this race. But what can we say about Garrix that's not going to happen this time around? Now, I've made no bones about the fact that I think he's a well above average 3-year-old. I think he's got big feature races to come. There's a lot to like about him. He's an athletic horse. He is just the goods. But was it second on after gelding that made him unimpressive to the eye when winning last time? Is he going to be stretched over this distance? And is he going to be able to overcome the weight disadvantage that he's got with Otto Lucan and Mucho De Niro? That all remains to be seen. Gavin Lorena had to really get Garrix to stretch last time out when winning the Legal Eagle Stakes. And that may have cooled off a little bit of the hype around the son of Verse and Getrix. I don't know if he's in the right place yet, going 1,950 metres, having the career that he's had, bang, 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 run, run, run. His run in the Splash Out Cape Derby sets a very high standard, finishing less than 4 lengths behind 8 on 18. And if you think about the passage that he had in races here during the Cape Summer Festival, deep drawn Lomaroy Kings Plate Day, taken his medicine, ran on really strongly behind Sail of the Seas over 1,400 metres. I mean, that Sail of the Seas has got to be among the best middle distance horses in the country, having won the World Sports Betting KZN Guineas. And then again, the Politician, where they hacked up the back straight. Elder Demay did nothing wrong, but had to take him out and ride the race to suit Garrix, and it just didn't fall into his lap, and Zeitz was able to run him down and do the job over Garrix. So for those reasons, and the fact that he's in here 1.5 kilos worse off with Otto Lucan and Mucho De Niro, sways me towards the 2. Otto Lucan on a softer track, with the improvement with blinkers last time out, going off to the front, fighting hard and just getting snared by Garrix over the closing stages. I think that 1.5 kilo difference and going a distance that is going to suit him better. Otto Lucan's a better long distance horse than he is around that middle distance range. Is going to put the son of Flower Alley bang in the race, I feel. And then obviously Mucho De Niro as well was doing low level flying last time on the Legal Eagle when finishing 3rd behind Garrix. This extra distance is going to be right to his alley. I spoke to Justin Snate during the week. The plan for Mucho De Niro is, if he gets into the Hollywoodbets Durban July, is raid. Not going to go into Durban without a ticket into the Hollywoodbets Durban July. He's going to go straight from Cape Town. Prepare him here on these tracks, the tracks that he thrives on. If you have a look at his KZN form last year, probably wasn't at the same level as what he is in Cape Town. So that is the idea, and the pressure's on for Mucho De Niro to perform. Win is necessary. Place would probably see him as a little bit of flavour among the judges and the panellists that are going to make up the field. But number 4, Mucho De Niro, needs to perform here. If he doesn't win, he has to go very, very close. Otherwise, I think his invitation could be in the dustbin. Race number 8, the big race on the card, the most intriguing race on the card. Box Swingers, 2 and 4. I'm leaving out one of my favourite horses in the country. Race 9, penultimate race, celebrating Centurion member Ross Kiesvetter's birthday C Stakes. They go 1,000 metres, 25 to 5 is when the race runs. The US of A won on the 4th of May, delivering on the promise that he's always been rumoured to have. Richard Faree delivering him to victory. He's got 64 kilos to carry this time around. Therefore, he's 2.5 kilos worse off with tough terrain. But one thing we know with the US of A is that he's obviously had a couple of problems. A low mileage rising 5-year-old with just 11 starts. But what we saw with him as a maiden and we made no bones about this, is the turn of foot that he has. He turned on a turn of foot at the 800 on the Work Riders versus Professional Jockeys Day, the Kaya Stables Work Riders versus Jockeys race, when William Bambiso rode him after being slowly away and finding him in front after a furlong of running. He demonstrated that when he could never lose a maiden when beating Arnstein. The form line is abhorrent, to say the least. But again, laid off for a while for reasons that Robert Bloomberg has publicised in winning interviews. May have needed his first run back from a gelding on the 14th of April when finishing second behind Crowned Hornbill. But again, a lovely turn of foot, and I know Craig Zaki was full of praise of him afterwards. And then last time out, made no mistakes when sitting closer to the pace, but still able to delivering that flashing turn of foot for the son of the United States. He is obviously related to a high-quality individual in the form of Melech, with Roy Magna up on the half felt. He'll be running in a grade 2 at Hollywoodbets Scottsville this coming weekend. Well, he's certainly carded to run at the time of recording. So number 8, the US of A, if he can defy that top weight, and I see no reason why he can't, will be a very valuable starting point on the horse they all need to beat. Tough Terrain, a good horse in his own right. He's got an equally good turn of foot, but for me, the US of A just blunted that turn of foot that Tough Terrain normally has last time out. He's got 2 3/4 lengths to turn around. He's got 2.5 kilos to play with. I think the conversation is live for number 1, Tough Terrain. Muzieni will know him a lot better as well. But who's going to have their best turn of foot? And I think the US of A right now, in the form that he's in, will be the right one. Piroshka on my radar for a top 4 as well. His ratings come down enough, and Brevin Plague's claim is going to help him out. But the suggestion, win on the US of A. On we go to race number 10, Hollywoodbets Bright Future Class 4. They go 1,400 metres, 10 past 5 is race time. A lot of horses that have been on the radar for a while in this event, and I think it's going to be a fiercely competitive race. I love that Class 4 level because you've got the propensity of horses who can step forward and be dangerous in a few months, and you've got those horses whose ratings are dropping. So it makes for a very intriguing event. Let's have a look at the run of War Chariot last time. What an effort. One of the most gallant performances I've seen from the front, that ended in tears, having been brave, going off to the lead, fighting them off, kicking away at the top of the straight, and just getting snared by Green Garnet, who runs at a level higher a couple of hours earlier. Richard Free takes a ride for the bang for Michelle Ricks and Harold Crawford yard. Just the bravery, the fight, and the tenacity that he showed last time is likely to carry him towards winning this race, and I think that he is the one that they all need to beat, the son of Pomodoro. If he's in the mood that he was last time out, he'll be difficult to peg back, and he'll need to battle hard because there will be horses that will be coming at him late. But I love what I saw last time. A horse like that will always get the time of day from me. What about the others? Number 3, Iconic Destination. Credit to Andre Nell and his team at Platinum Racing, because if you think this horse was mixing it with the likes of Charles Dickens and Dave the King early in his career, had awful wind problems, was kept off the track for a long time, he was sparingly raced. He ran 4 times within a 2-year period. I mean, people give up on horses like that, but no. Not the Platinum team. He was a little flat last time over 1,250 metres at Hollywoodbets Derbyville, but I'll put that down to the tight turns at the country course that may have just caught him out. And I think coming back to the course that he runs his best races, number 3, Iconic Destination, is worth a look and worth including and worth a vote of confidence, the fact that he has found himself in form. And he'll never be at his best, number 3, Iconic Destination, but his half his best will be dangerous in a race of this nature. Cabona Lassetti in the play, 6 Del Manufacturers that I absolutely love. 7 Happy Days put up a lovely run last time and flashing up late behind Stable Companion, Paratrooper, and a couple of others that have been in my black book for a while. What's a Fortune and Two to Fay, Make Up Trifecta and Quartet Hopes. But Box Swingers 3 and 5, War Chariot and Iconic Destination will be the idea of the 10th and last. That's a wrap. Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on this Sunday. There'll be plenty of feature race action coming your way from HQ during June. We've got the Langerman, which I'm really looking forward to. It's a wonderful pointer for the 3-year-old classics come the summer. I know we're a long way out, but there's some very promising 2-year-olds around the entire country. Potentially the likes of Randolph Hurst will be running here in mid to late June when the Langerman happens, and plenty of grade 1 action coming from KZN. Hollywoodbets Scottsville this weekend. Hollywoodbets Gold Challenge coming up the next weekend, which will be the last big step for the big names into the Hollywoodbets Derby. As mentioned, the Jubilee Stakes. We also got the Tote Oaks and Derby coming up from Hollywoodbets Scottsville as we wind up to just over a month to Africa's greatest horse race. For myself, Alistair, come and say hello on Sunday. Looking forward to hosting you and having you. The weather's set fair, and we hope that you'll have a wonderful day with some big names going around the track. Goodbye.